All right, MYB, episode number 211 of the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own. Thank you so much for recording this on October the 21st. And so hope everything is going well personally and professionally for you. Subscribe to the podcast, 5-star, wherever you get your pods. Helps us be able to expand and connect in the MYB community. I'm excited for some great things that are going on. I know that many of you here in the States have engaged in early voting. So definitely have that process going. And I'm hearing some good things. I'm hearing some positivity out there, some good news. And so I'm excited to hear that as I've gone about my walk and hearing people that are able to do deals that maybe they couldn't do a month ago, or able to kind of move around and kind of do some things. I know we're hearing about some cases of coronavirus picking up in some areas. That's still unfortunate, but I'm hearing some positivity. So hopefully that's the case for you, and you find that as you listen to this podcast or this particular episode. But I'm excited for today's guest, Vince Benedetto. I want to make sure I say that right, Vince. It's definitely a mouthful there with your name. Vince Benedetto joins us here on the Minding Your Business podcast. He's the CEO and founder of Automated Dreams LLC in Portland, Oregon, although he finds himself now in Chile.
Exactly.
South of us here. And so Vince, thank you so much for joining, man. I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, excellent. So let's talk a little bit about Chile for a minute. How's it been down there? What's been kind of the climate, there, kind of countryside?
Yeah, I mean, Chile, it's amazing. I moved here during the, I guess you call it civil unrest, but really great to see freedom of speech and just so many people assembling and protesting. And I guess actually it's a really historic moment. This Sunday, they're voting on a new constitution.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't think I'd, be experiencing
in the middle of all that. Right.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going to pass. It's like 80% people are going to say, yeah, let's do it. Interesting thing about their constitution, it was right now it's like what Pinochet put together, so the dictator, and it didn't allow for any sort of amendments. I guess we're privileged in the U.S. to have a constitution that we can amend. And not so much down here. But Chile's been great. It's I live in Santiago, in an area, and it's just like living in the U.S. No differences.
Yeah. Excellent. No, definitely, tremendous stuff. And so you kind of got your beginnings then, if we start with your background there, Vince, were you kind of born and raised in Portland, or?
No, I grew up in the Silicon Valley, so San Mateo, California.
There you go.
And I guess it's the headquarters of GoPro.
Yep, and all those great things. So, well, tell us about your upbringing there. And certainly in that part of California, considered very innovative to say the least. In the Silicon Valley area. So, talk about your upbringing, kind of coming in, and what kind of got you into marketing and automation.
Yeah, I guess just always surrounded by technology, and I thought everyone was. And after moving to Portland, I did my undergrad and my MBA up there, and straight out of school worked for Intel and their experiential marketing department, and then hopped in and worked for about 2 years with an author called Sark out of San Francisco. Sark stands for Susan Ariel Rainbow Kennedy. And wore all of the hats to sort of run different things in her product business, her books, her mentoring, her online coaching. And I was really fascinated around marketing automation, making your life easier. There's always an easier way to do something, and that's marketing automation in business. So I'm like, she was teaching entrepreneurship, I think it was called Succulent Wild Entrepreneurship, always these interesting names to her programs. And it really inspired me to hop out and start my own business. And that's what I knew best was marketing automation. And the exciting thing is like each business is a puzzle, but you can keep adding to that puzzle with automation. So So it's been 3 years as of last week, and we're a team of about 20 people doing all things marketing automation, API development, chatbot marketing, AI, you name it.
Yeah. So let's dive in here. So when you talk about marketing automation, that may be unique to some folks listening. Can you kind of describe that, Vince? What that is, and how that has a positive effect on business?
Yeah, so marketing automation, business process automation, basically where we start off with is anywhere that you have like a manual or semi-automated process. Um, and we begin to implement tools to automate that. So really I like to focus on with clients is where's a lot of your human talent being wasted on day-to-day and or repetitive tasks. And a lot of those repetitive tasks, we have tools now. We have CRM systems. We have things like Zapier to tie it all together. So if this happens, then that happens. So marketing automation is just a lot of automated, if this happens, then do this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, what are the typical business industries that you're working with? Do you focus on industry, or are you just kind of working, businesses in general?
Yeah, I know we always tell all of our clients to niche down, but really with with marketing automation, it really is not industry specific. It applies to every single industry. I dare you to find an industry where it doesn't apply to. So yeah, I mean, usually like 90% of what we do applies to all industries, and the other 10% is like industry specific.
Yeah.
But we don't focus on any one industry.
Yeah.
Which
Gotcha.
is exciting to me. I like to play around, and it's a new challenge with every client.
Yeah, absolutely. With some of your recent clients, Vince, who have you kind of worked with recently? That's maybe if you can't share names, but just what type
I
of
think I
industries
can
have you
share
recently
names.
worked
Yes.
with? I don't know if you have
So
NDAs with some stuff, so I know that may be a challenge, but
I can disclose. Yeah, I know you're big in real estate. We work with Grant Cardone and Cardone Ventures.
okay,
So Cardone Ventures is his partnership with Josh Dawson, all about the 10x your business, 10x live.
yeah,
Some companies like in the product space called Yes to Skincare.
yeah,
If you've been in Walmart and Target, you've seen them like Yes to Cucumbers, Yes to Carrots. Worked with nonprofit organizations like the Black Jaguar White Tiger Foundation down in Mexico City, corporations like Exelon, speakers, Steve Napolitan, all over the board.
yeah.
And right now we're working with a large company called U.S. Land and Ranches, which is
Okay,
a land liquidation company out of New Hampshire, but has 8 state franchises.
yeah.
So it's just exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so, are you normally working with them, over a specific project, or do you kind of work with your clients perpetually and kind of, you're kind of getting integrated into their overall culture and kind of, business model?
Yeah, I mean, so we're really flexible in how we work, but we'd like to work in the whole like there's no such thing as a scope. Here's our services, here's our offerings, and like use this as you want to. And clients come to us saying like, I want to launch a webinar. Can we
Yeah,
do it? Yeah, totally, sure. Like, give us the email copy. Or I want to streamline my sales process. Great. Here's PandaDoc. Here's how PandaDoc's going to help you. Here's how we're going to implement it. And
yeah,
here's how we're going to make it a seamless integration to your systems.
sure.
So all kinds of different ways, but definitely like the perpetual sort of working relationship is great because we get to learn their business intimately. And yeah, we get to watch them grow and help them grow.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. When you talked about PandaDoc, obviously that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I use PandaDoc as a platform for getting e-signatures and that sort of thing. How did you get specifically involved with them? I'm always curious. They've been a great partner of mine.
Yeah, I mean, part of part of this job is just trying out all kinds of different tools. So I know, the good thing about us is we're software agnostic. So you're not going to come to us and get a pitch for ClickFunnels, and like we won't work with you unless you use ClickFunnels or Infusionsoft. It's really like what's going to work for your business goals and objectives. So PandaDoc is something that we actually use in-house. I used to use
Sure.
a tool called Nusi, and it served its purpose, but we sort of outgrew it. Yeah, and so PandaDoc is something that we use. We've probably used for a year and a half or two now.
Yeah.
And it's just great because it's super flexible. You can have your whole sales process in there, your whole reminder process, take payments, take signatures, and have all of your bases covered. Very early on, I was sort of had my rose-colored lenses on, like, oh, I don't need to have terms and services or people sign anything. Like everyone's good. Like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you're not. So PandaDoc just
Right.
helps, have everything in writing, and sign on the dotted line.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. No doubt about it. And so, as the pandemic has come about, Vince, and, that's obviously impacted business in all kinds of different, forms and fashions. What are you seeing with that, with your clients where, there, kind of various responses to the kind of the onset of the pandemic, or was it fairly smooth business for everybody, kind of going into it? I imagine not, but there was some kind of
Yeah.
impact somewhere.
I mean, what do they call it when certain industries are actually do well in a recession? There's a term for that, but I'm not
Um,
sure.
I'm not really sure, other than them
Yeah,
just doing well.
there's a term for like certain businesses do better in like a
Yeah,
recession or like uncertainty, and I didn't
right.
know, but I guess marketing automation is one of those industries where we do better when things are a little less certain.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen customers spend more a lot. Like we've done record sales these past few months, and it's just people are seeing the importance of marketing automation in terms
yeah,
of right now, like how do you continue to run your business in a manner where it doesn't rely on a lot of human talent,
yeah,
and how do you also set up your business so that you can come out of this pandemic streamlined, and just more cost efficient.
yeah,
And also another thing is a lot of like automation projects, marketing automation, are often those projects that are, yes, they're important, but let's put that on the back burner. So
yeah,
like everybody I talk to has like these automation projects on the back burner. Like, yeah, we need to get to that. And
yeah,
so like, yeah, it's sad some of our clients have lost business, but that freed up more time for them to spend on these important projects.
yeah. Yep, no doubt about it. Some of the thing that comes when you use the term automation, obviously, and you talked about that with human talent, that can scare people, right?
Yeah.
The whole automation piece. What's kind of your stance, Vince, on the automation, as it relates to the human interaction, right? Because I know for me, I've always looked at technology and automation as a way to take care of those routine, not to say mundane, but kind of more routine tasks, so that it actually enhances the human interaction, not
Right.
reduces it. Um, but what's kind of your stance on that, and how you help companies frame the culture when adding automation?
Yeah, so you bring up a good point. Like, yeah, it does all the mundane things so that the human talent can focus on having more conversations, can actually have the time to personalize, send out gift baskets or make a call to a few customers when,
Right.
they would have been doing like data entry tasks and not had time for those other important things, those value add.
Right.
So automation allows you to really spend more time on those value add tasks. But when it comes to automating like communication, we take it there too with chatbots.
Yeah.
And often it's like, well, that's not very personalized. And really what most people want is just an answer, and an answer fast.
Right. Yeah.
and the right answer,
Yeah.
instead of like, oh, sorry, I don't understand your question.
Right.
Let me get a human on the line for you.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I talk to a chat bot, like if it gives me an answer, I'm happy. Like 5 stars for you, good job.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, yeah, it's just like a knee-jerk reaction. Like bots, what do you mean bots? I hate bots. They're not personal.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well, okay, great. It's personal. You can have an autoresponder that says, "We'll reply to you in 48 hours." And
Yeah.
what kind of experience are you providing to your prospects and customers that way?
Yeah, and speaking of bots, Vince, I'm interested to get your perspective on this because bots, particularly as it relates to social media, right? And
Yeah,
I think one of the big questions that all industries are having is how to properly monetize, how to properly assess social media, and then properly monetize it. Obviously, it's got a lot of power. It's where people hang out now.
yeah,
There's so much tied and integrated into it. But I think particularly whether you look at the music industry or you look at various industries, they're trying to figure out what's the value of a stream, what's the value of an eyeball on YouTube or on Twitter or something like that. The sporting industry is going to have to figure that out. Professional sports,
yeah,
as TV contracts evolve over these next few years. In their collective bargaining agreements, they're having to make decisions on, okay, what's the revenue stream? What is it going to look like when our fans are not watching us on TV? They're watching us on YouTube and these streaming services and that
yeah.
sort of thing. I'd love to get your take on, that whole overall piece on how bots are used and, how that can impact how industries and organizations utilize social media, to determine what revenue opportunities exist or don't exist and how they assess that to then determine how they're going to go and do business in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we look at bots more as a marketing communication channel, or just a communication channel in general. And
Yeah.
so it's separate from social media, but it's also integrated into social media.
Okay.
I mean, there's all kinds of platforms like Intercom, Live Chat, Chat Fuel, ManyChat, and we really focus on ManyChat because it uses Facebook Messenger as a platform. Like a lot of people will have a live chat or a Zendesk on their website. But once that person leaves your website, unless they've given you their email or SMS, like you've lost them.
Right.
So if you use Messenger as a communication channel, as soon as they opt into that, you have a way to communicate them once they leave your landing page, once they leave a conversation. So that's why we focus on Facebook Messenger as a tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like how do you monetize that, or is it relevant when people are looking at our bots right for me? And really, I like to frame it as like, do you have conversations in your day to day in business? Like, can your company benefit from having conversations with prospects? And 99% of the time, it's a yes, yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
so all bots is it's just allowing you to have conversations at scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
Yes. So your company, your brand can be having, a million different conversations at the same time without having to hire another customer service agent.
Right. Exactly. And so, thank you for that clarification, Vince. But I would like to get your thought on the social media piece, even separate from bots.
Yeah.
What's how do you all work and integrate with social media, and what's kind of your overall thought on how, again, that monetization piece of, how businesses can do that? Because I think it ties into, kind of somewhat the future of, iteration of your business, which would be this full kind of integration into a company's social media, where that's where, like you say, bots are being used there to respond to Facebook Messenger and to respond to DMs and
Yeah.
Instagram and to actually conduct posts and interact with people, maybe at some point in a more personable way, even from a bot, where
Yeah.
a bot is able to deduce and calculate who has the propensity to like a post and who has the propensity to ultimately buy, and triggering then Facebook ads or Instagram ads, create those automatically so that it's going after that audience. I hear you snickering,
It's
so I
all
think you're
there. No, I
already
mean,
on that.
it's
Yeah,
all there. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
we,
I'm
we use
describing
tools.
today's business.
Exactly. We use tools like IBM Watson and Google Dialogflow to do that.
Right.
So that's your AI automation. So to notice intents and to do certain actions based off of it.
Yeah.
So that's how you get the more. If you invest more time into it, that's how you get bots responding like a human to these
Right.
questions that are not just like FAQs.
Yeah. There you go. So it's catch up, Ron.
Yeah.
We're already there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So let me ask you this then: for companies, for someone starting out, would that be a practical lane to go down for someone that's starting out in their business, or would that be maybe better predicated for maybe a little bit more established business in terms of that integration?
Yeah, I was a victim of this, and I feel like a lot of people are when they first hear about bots and see all the possibilities, is they go 100% in and try to do everything like super advanced when 99% of businesses have nothing. So it really is blue ocean, and the most powerful stuff you can do is just really simple. Starting really simple. So anyone who doesn't have bots, just start simple. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up in all the possibilities, and 4 months are going to go by, and you're going to have nothing launched.
Right.
So yeah, it makes sense for all businesses, but it's not the first step.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. What do you kind of see down the line? Vince, in terms of marketing automation, what's next? What do you see on the horizon that could be the next level? You know what I mean? Like what really takes things to the next level that maybe you're looking at, or maybe other companies are investing in.
Yeah, I think like what's on the horizon is just a more integrated, what we call omni-channel marketing approach.
Okay.
So you have your SMS, you have your email, you have your direct mail, your messenger, your different bots, your push notifications, your ads.
Yeah.
And I see like a trend for companies trying to integrate all of those together in a much more simplified and smarter way. So,
Yeah.
like Ron, if my brand is having a conversation with you and you're responding via text, then we're going to, divert more of the communication to you, Ron, for text. But maybe I'm more prone to responding in emails. So like the company's going to respond to me in emails only. And I also see, I'm really excited about like the AMP editor in emails, which is becoming more predominant. It's a new feature, but it's allowing emails to become dynamic. So you'll receive an email with a form like, "Hey, can you take this survey and let us know how we did?"
Yeah.
And normally we see like the stars, and you click the star, and then it diverts you to another page, and then you have to fill out a form. But you're able to actually like fill out the form in the email and click submit without ever leaving.
Yeah. Excellent.
Which is huge. And the email is able to dynamically display content as you're interacting with it. So I never thought that we'd see emails become like a dynamic tool.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And so, and that's interesting. Email being, to say it's dated, but kind of circling back and utilizing email in a different fashion. I think
it's saturated. I mean, everybody has to have email. It's sort of like everyone has to have a website.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. What about for you, Vince? More on a personal nature. You have family here in the States, and obviously, and what's kind of your, how do they support your business? Your family that's here, and how do you interact with them?
Yeah, they still don't understand it. My mom works in the government. I mean, the government's pretty far behind on marketing automation.
Well, sure.
And my dad's in contracting, so. But yeah, my brother actually works with for the company, and he's like our head bot builder, so he's really invested in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's exciting to have him on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how is it working with your brother?
Well, I told him like I'm gonna be harder on him than anybody else, and like I'll fire you if you don't work well.
Right.
No, but he's great.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting kind of dynamic for you personally, Vince. You don't have parents that have been like an entrepreneur.
My father, yeah, he's owned his business for.
Oh, has he? Okay, you said he's contract, so he's not working like for a company. He has his own company that he.
Exactly.
Okay, there you go. Gotcha. So it runs in the family then, that ownership and that sort of piece. So.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm excited to have my brother working for us. Like he did his associate's degree, but honestly, the most valuable, like the highest ROI thing that in my life has been my certification in Ontraport, which is like this niche CRM. Like that certification alone has brought me more ROI than like my MBA or my bachelor's degree.
Wow.
That's to what I can quantify. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say you could quantify that, in a probably much more tremendous way than, like you say, your bachelor's degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're probably not using that. I mean, well, I mean, it's helped shape your ability to focus in and kind of learn and go through a program, but you're probably not using it much now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to measure that. It probably allows me to have more conversations, just having those 3 letters by my name, MBA. Like more people
Yeah,
are more likely to hop on the phone with me. I don't know.
right.
I'd like to have a survey.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
take your call.
yeah.
Right, no doubt about it. Well, man, this is Vince. This has been a tremendous dialogue, man. For how can people connect with you and connect with your company if they're listening to the podcast and they want to learn a little bit more, or possibly want to engage you in helping them, automate their marketing processes? How can they do that?
Yeah, if you just go to automateddreams.com, you'll see a chat
Yeah,
bot that you can chat in through.
yeah,
And if you need to have a conversation, it directs it to all of our team members, and we'll hop on and talk. And
yeah,
also can hop on the phone.
yeah,
Oftentimes it starts like, what is your business's dream? What does your dream business look like? And 99% of the time we can make it happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So, Vince, man, I appreciate it. Matter of fact, the link, MYB, is in the show notes. So you can go to automateddreams.com. That's correct, Vince, automateddreams.com.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. So you could go to automateddreams.com, click on the link there in the show notes and connect. And then let Vince and his team know that you heard them right here on the Minding Your Business podcast. Before we wrap up, last question for you. Since you're down in Chile and you're looking to get back to the States, what is your, and let me ask you this. What would you do with $100 million cash? If I provided you $100 million cash, no strings attached, nothing like that. Yeah, what would you do with that, Vince, and why?
Great question. Yeah, first I'd pay off all my student debt.
Okay.
um,
Yeah, definitely.
all my family's debt. And then, yeah, I just travel the world. That's what I love to do. That's my number one bucket list, is to go to every country. I just would use it there.
Yeah. Where have you been so far? Like, what are some of the top places that you've really loved that you've been so far?
Yeah, I've been to 41 countries so far.
Wow.
And this coronavirus really is a bummer because I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I just did a beach trip after 6 months being stuck in Santiago.
Oh my goodness.
Favorite countries so far have to be South Korea, Armenia, and Estonia. Yeah, just I love off the beaten path. Yeah, sort of those things where you can't find much about it online.
Right.
When I went to Armenia, I'm like, it's going to be super boring. There's nothing here, and it was amazing. Just
really, because you didn't probably run into a lot of tourists and stuff, kind of coming in, that sort of thing.
No, I went to this one city called Verde, which is this sort of like this defunct mining town, 70% unemployment.
Wow.
But they have these churches that are UNESCO protected from the 1st century AD. And just like scrolls are lying out just anywhere. And you're just walking around. And like, if I was in France, like there'd be security guards, like policemen, like you can just walk around.
Right.
So really off the beaten path countries that have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, man, you get a chance to travel some more, and best wishes to you down there in Chile, man. I know there's some things going on, so you'll be able to hopefully stay above the fray with that, and you'll get back here to the States real soon.
Yep. Well, thanks for having me on, Ron. I appreciate it.
That's Vince de Benedetto joining here on the Minding Your Business podcast. He is the founder and CEO of Automated Dreams LLC. That's automateddreams.com. Make sure you connect with him, MYB, right after you get through listening to this episode. Vince, man, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you taking time out to join us here, and look to remain connected and look to hear about your travels as that opens up, man. I'd love to hear where you go next.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Vince, take care, man. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, just fun conversation there, MYB, there with Vince. So definitely connect with them, automateddreams.com. You can connect with me at champronbrooks.com. Make sure you do that to connect with all my ventures, as well as communicate with me. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms that you like. That's at champ_Ron_. So make sure you do just that. Again, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in here for episode 211 of the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own. Remember, there's three things that unite us all, no matter how you look in the mirror or where you're from. Those three things are: we all want to be a little better for ourselves, a little better for our families, and a little better for our communities. And if we remember that with every interaction that we have with every person, we can all help this place be just a little bit better. Champ Ron, the Minding Your Business podcast.